Here's an expanded, flowing rewrite of the entire narrative as a seamless, heading-free story. I've kept the dramatic first-person style intact while fleshing it out with smoother transitions, a bit more emotional depth, additional sensory details, and extended build-up/payoff moments to make it feel even more cinematic and engaging for narration. Perfect for a longer YouTube video script. No section breaks or headings, just one continuous tale. Have you ever caught someone red-handed stealing from you, only to have them turn around and call the cops on you? That's exactly what unfolded when I discovered my HOA president had secretly run illegal power lines from my grandfather's remote cabin straight to her sprawling mansion for 8 long months. Brenda Thornfield wasn't just siphoning electricity. She was bleeding the grid dry to fuel her heated driveway, blazing grow lights, and every over-the-top luxury in her McMansion, all while bombarding us with fake violation notices and threats. When I finally confronted her with hard proof, she didn't back down or apologize. She escalated in the most vicious way imaginable. She deliberately cut power to my 89-year-old grandfather's oxygen concentrator in the middle of a brutal February blizzard, then dialed 911, shrieking that I was the thief, that I was threatening community safety and endangering a disabled veteran. That night, my grandfather nearly died. I found him gasping, lips turning blue, his medical equipment dead silent in the freezing dark of the cabin as snow howled against the windows. In that moment, rage and clarity hit me at once. I was going to show her exactly who controlled the power in this valley. My name is Samuel Gallagher. I'm 45, an electrical engineer by trade, and up until recently, I thought inheriting my grandfather Walter's cabin in the Colorado mountains would be the greatest gift life could give me. Walter built the place back in 1952 on 5 acres of pristine land. Rustic logs, wrap-around porch with hand-carved railings that still carry the faint scent of pine sap in the sun, and solar panels I'd installed myself gleaming on the new metal roof. After my divorce stripped away so much else, this cabin became my sanctuary. Every weekend, I drive up from Denver with Walter, now 89, tethered to his oxygen machine, and we'd run free workshops for underprivileged kids. I'd teach them solar basics, simple circuits, anything to spark interest in the trades. The sound of their laughter bouncing off the pines, the crunch of aspen leaves under their boots as they wired projects, Walter's proud, weathered smile as he spun stories from the old rural electrification days when men built things to last. It all felt like 3 generations of Gallagher legacy wrapped in one place. Then Pine Ridge Commons happened. Developers crept in over the decades, surrounding our land with 200 identical beige-sided homes, black shutters, ruler-straight lawns, a suburban maze that swallowed Walter's peaceful retreat. Ruling this bland empire was Brenda Thornfield. White BMW with HOA 4 EVR plates, clipboard clutched like a royal scepter, never a callus on her hands. She'd been HOA president for 3 years, enforcing bylaws like personal vendettas, obsessed with property values and aesthetics thanks to her real estate background. Her 4,000-square-foot McMansion loomed at the entrance, lit up like an airport runway, grow lights blazing from every window. Our first clash came on a crisp October morning. I stepped onto the porch to find her clicking high heels across Walter's hand-laid planks. "Mr. Gallagher," she announced without greeting, "this structure violates community standards. The rustic look drags down values, and those solar panels are an eyesore." I gripped the railing, feeling decades of family history under my fingers. "Ma'am, this cabin predates your HOA by 30 years. My grandfather was the original landowner who sold the plots to your developers." Her smile sliced like glass. "Times change. Paint it beige in 30 days or face escalating fines. $100 daily, up to $500. And those workshops. We'll need to discuss if a commercial operation belongs in residential zoning." As she strutted back to her car, I caught it. The low hum of overloaded transformers, diesel exhaust cutting through clean mountain air. For a green community, the power draw didn't add up. Brenda didn't bluff. Within days came certified letters accusing me of running an unlicensed trade school. She dug through records, counted kids' license plates, filed county complaints claiming safety hazards. One Saturday, as coffee and sawdust filled the workshop and I guided 15-year-old Jake Morrison through wiring a solar array, a county inspector arrived unannounced. I handed over my thick folder of permits, inspections, safety protocols, everything exceeding code. The inspector deflated, tested outlets, praised the setup. Jake piped up, "Mr. Gallagher taught us emergency shutdowns. Want to see?" The inspector stayed for lunch, took notes, even suggested official certification. Brenda's first strike had backfired gloriously. She pivoted to psychological warfare. A safety committee meeting at her mansion. I wasn't invited, complete with PowerPoint slides of my cabin, workshop, kids' cars, painting us as a threat to values. Dorothy Vance, a sweet 78-year-old neighbor, filled me in later. Fake parent testimonials, claims of fire hazards from old wiring, calls to condemn the property. That night, wind whistling through pines, I dove into records dating to 1952. Walter had retained grandfathered easements, agricultural/educational protections no bylaw could touch. I documented her selective enforcement, blue doors, garden gnomes, long-parked RVs ignored, then filed a counter-complaint. But her real motive wasn't aesthetics. It was cover for something far bigger. I'd noticed orange extension cords in photos, transformers straining at night. Evening walks revealed patterns. Massive loads at certain houses, especially hers. One frigid night, following cables through snow, I found a smoking gun, an illegal bypass at the community junction box, sophisticated direct feed, siphoning power without metering. This wasn't amateur theft. It required real electrical know-how. Brenda caught me documenting. Panic flashed across her face. Instead of explaining, she dialed 911. A man's tampering with equipment, acting erratically. I'm afraid. Hours later, someone, disconnected my power at that same box. The cabin plunged into darkness. Walter's wheezing grew desperate without oxygen. I raced through the blizzard with a portable generator, stabilized him, called paramedics. As his breathing steadied beside the generator's rumble, he whispered, "That woman tried to kill me, didn't she?" I nodded. "Then it's time you learned what your grandmother and I really left you." From an old cedar chest came oilcloth-wrapped documents. Original incorporation papers for Pine Ridge Power Cooperative, Walter as founding member and major shareholder, stock certificates, easements granting control over transmission lines through the development. Research confirmed it. I held 23%, controlling interest in the $2. $3 million utility serving 3 counties, including every home in Pine Ridge Commons. Brenda had been stealing from her own provider. Dividend payments waited unclaimed. The irony burned deliciously. She'd harassed the one man who could disconnect her with a phone call. I contacted the cooperative's legal team, then the FBI's white-collar division. Utility theft on this scale was federal wire fraud. Evidence mounted. Time-stamped photos, load analyses, harassment logs from Dorothy and Jake, even my ex-wife Jennifer's character statement debunking Brenda's smears. I turned Walter's living room into a war room. Maps, diagrams, data proving $3,000 monthly theft for 8 months, plus infrastructure damage. Brenda panicked. Removing bypass gear caught on camera, false complaints, school attacks on my program. Targeting Jake, whose mom, an ex-Army medic, went nuclear in defense. Midnight evidence destruction with a shady contractor only added obstruction charges. Her final blunder, faking a hazmat emergency to discredit me on live news, backfiring when crews found nothing, neighbors rallied, and FBI warrants hit her house. At the packed town hall meeting, Dorothy presiding, Walter front row with oxygen. Brenda was absent, already in federal custody after a failed escape with cash and fake passport. I presented slides, bypass photos, Walter's silent concentrator, theft calculations, then the incorporation docs. Gasps turned to outrage, then laughter as truth sank in. She'd waged war on her own landlord. Agent Rodriguez confirmed charges: wire fraud, theft, false reports, obstruction, potentially 10 to 15 years. Walter stood. She messed with a Gallagher. We've protected this community's power for 70 years. 6 months later, Brenda served 8 years. Her mansion auctioned for restitution. Dorothy became HOA president, axed harassment policies, created the Gallagher Education Fund from recovered funds. Now a regional renewable energy center with scholarships, Jake's first, expanded classes, lower bills via upgrades. Walter, at 90, teaches History of Power weekly, energized by purpose. We even built the Brenda Thornfield Memorial Garden, solar-irrigated veggies, feeding families, composting waste. The woman who tried to steal our power now powers good in the most ironic way. This wasn't just revenge. It was legacy reclaimed, community healed, a promise kept across generations. Sometimes the best justice hums quietly through the lines until it flips the switch. Drop your state below. Where's my power squad watching from? Hit subscribe for more chaotic, satisfying stories. What would you do if someone tried to cut your grandfather's lifeline to cover their crimes? Tell me in the comments.